Yo, what's up, rockers? Can you believe 35 years ago we got this? The Legend of Zelda. It celebrated its 35th anniversary this year, and naturally we'd come to expect something special from Nintendo, right? Maybe a new special edition of the game? Or the next sequel in the series, or something to that effect? No, we didn't get that. We did get this. And don't get me wrong, this is actually pretty cool. But I'm not gonna lie, it kind of has me a little disappointed. And quite frankly, I think we can do a lot better. Now, The Legend of Zelda has long been one of my favorite game series of all time, and some of the classics on it are undisputed some of the greatest games ever created. So in this video, let's create an absolutely custom piece to celebrate the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda, and let's do what Nintendo didn't.
Now, I want to set the record straight on a few points that I made earlier in the video before I get myself into some trouble in the comments below. First, Nintendo did release a Legend of Zelda game in 2021, that being the remaster of Skyward Sword, otherwise known as Skyward Sword HD. And second, they did release a set of Joy-Con to coincide with the game. What's important to note about both of these is neither bears the 35th anniversary moniker, and certainly there was not any kind of all-star game treatment that Mario got. Now, speaking of 35th anniversary moniker, Nintendo didn't even make one. It's like it never even happened. Now, what's crazy is Nintendo did make commemorative monikers for both the 25th and 30th anniversaries of the series. Going a step further into controllers, there have only ever been 3 controllers that were made by Nintendo that bear the Legend of Zelda in any way, shape, or form. Of course, we've already talked about the Skyward Sword Joy-Con, but there are 2 others. One is a Wiimote, which came with the original release of Skyward Sword in the limited edition game on the Wii, and the other one is a Wii U tablet that came with the Wind Waker HD system bundle. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how we're going to design this controller. So first of all, I pulled in my good buddy Pucho Magic to help with this project. For those of you who don't know Pucho, he is an amazing painter who does some high quality work and awesome graphic design in the process. So when looking at some of the commonalities that exist between Nintendo's existing body of work for their existing controllers, really 1 or 2 things kind of stands out, and really only 2 things in my mind totally stand out. One is the use of gold whenever talking about The Legend of Zelda, and second is the Hylian crest that you see on the controllers. So taking that into mind, we wanted to put that Hylian crest and make it front and center into the controller. And of course, we wanted to make it gold. From there, we had to make our own 35th anniversary moniker because, like I said, one didn't previously exist. And we'll get into exactly where that's going to show up later. But we need a controller to put this on, and if you kind of take a little look back at what we just talked about, there's been a controller for the Switch, Wii U, Wii, going one step back puts us at the Gamecube. So 35th anniversary Gamecube controller, it is.
Now, this is pretty awesome. Did you know you can actually still find these things brand new? I picked mine up on Amazon Japan, and it was like, 35, 40-ish bucks. I think it was like probably about 40 some odd dollars shipped. But yeah, let's crack this bad boy open. Man, it always feels good to crack open a brand new GameCube controller, let me tell you. Oh, look at that, man. We still got the blue plastic on this thing. Legit. And the best part about these new ones is, obviously, well, they're new, clearly, but they also come with that 10-foot cable, which is always a good thing. You always appreciate that. Oh, man. Look at that. So lovely. Well, I hate to say it. I'm not even going to test it. We're just going to do what we got to do, which is, rip this thing open. Now, ripping this thing open is pretty simple. Tri-wing screwdriver. 6 screws on the back. Let's roll.
And just like that, this thing's completely disassembled. Now that shell, we're going to send over to Pucho and let him work his magic on it. No pun intended. And this board, we got a lot of work to do to it, so let's dive into what we're going to do there. Now, first thing I'm going to do is remove the cable off of here, and my goal is ultimately to strip the cable back and install a removable cable mod. And basically what that entails is taking this out, installing a socket and header onto the cable, but of course before I do that, I'm also going to strip the wire on it and install a paracord because it's going to make it look even more beautiful, as well as make it so it doesn't tangle so easily. I've done a video on this that specifically covers how to do this, so if you're interested, I'll leave a video in the upper right hand corner. The only difference from what you've seen in that video to what I'm doing here is, like I said, I'm adding the removable cable mod element, which involves basically soldering on a socket as well as crimping some of those pins onto it. It's really simple to do, but yeah, like I said, leave that card in the upper right hand corner if you're interested in more information on it.
Now, in typical Pucho fashion, he came back with something that's truly beautiful.
Now, Pucho did an absolutely beautiful job capturing a lot of the design elements we talked about earlier, as well as creating his own 35th anniversary moniker, which again looks fantastic. But here comes the plot twist, because I think I actually want a clear back shell. So to have that clear back shell made, I reached out to my guy Crystal Cactus, and sure enough, this is what he came up with. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's going to look really great on this controller. However, there's one downside. We lost the 35th anniversary moniker. So to kind of rectify that, I went ahead and made this one up. It's basically a Hylian shield from Twilight Princess, and I added the 35 logo to it. It's similar to what you'd expect and have seen in some of the other ones, but I really like the effect of the Hylian shield being there. I figure we can integrate that into some of the casting we're going to do a little bit later on. And speaking of casting, let's get into it right now. Now, for all the casting, I use this Alumilite Clear Slow. It works absolutely fantastic, and I'll leave a link to it in the description if you're interested in trying it yourself. But yeah, we're going to go with this lovely gold over here, and it should look really, really nice. We're going to use this to complement the BXY Start RLZ, and of course the thumbsticks, because we got to custom make those as well. But this gold should look fantastic on that, and for the A button, let's just say I've got a little bit of surprise. So anyway, let's get this all mixed up, and we're going to get these injected into the mold. And to get them injected in the mold, we're just going to use a syringe, soak up some of that material, and inject it in. Here I'm making the thumbsticks, and I'm just injecting some rubber for the rubber caps, because of course, we need rubber caps on this thing. We can't use full resin sticks. That's just barbaric. And with all the material in the molds, the next step is to get them into the pressure pot. And basically what this does is it casts the resin under high pressure, and specifically I'm going to use about 75 psi, which is pretty high. You want to make sure you're using a specialty rated pot if you're using something like this. But what this will do is compress all the bubbles into nothing. Alright, now part of having a good controller, we're going to add some more beauty with the Shinewave Mod, which is a reactive LED mod, as well as a no reset snapback mod, because look, controller's got to look good, but it's got to play good too. So if you're curious about more information on either of these, I'll leave a link in the description below, as well as a card in the upper right hand corner. But for now, let's get these bad boys installed. Installing this no reset snapback mod is incredibly simple. It just requires 4 wires getting soldered to the potentiometers on the left thumbstick, and yeah, we're just gonna get those soldered in. Very simple. Just getting everything tinned into place here, and then I'm gonna come back in and make a final solder joint. Next thing I'm going to install is the QSB on the Shinewave mod, and this is extremely simple. 3 solder points, this flips over top of the cable header pin, and that's it. Solder this bad boy into place, and Shinewave, all we gotta do from there is hook up those flex cables. So next I want to do a Tactile Z mod, and this is going to be probably a little bit hard to hear, but if you take a quick listen, don't really hear much. You hear probably a little bit of squeaking just from, you know, sounds that are in my house, but can't really hear anything. So we're going to replace that with this Tactile Z right here, and if you take a listen to this, yeah, much more meaningful difference. This feels almost spongy in nature is how I would describe it, and this is very, very responsive. So should make a nice improvement in Z button functionality. So yeah, we're just gonna get this thing desoldered and put it in.
and that worked pretty much perfect.
Alright, with all that mod work complete, it's just a matter of getting those Shinewave boards adhered to the board, just using the double-sided adhesive that comes with them, as well as getting that snapback installed and getting the main module hooked up to the wiring harness. This part's fairly simple. I usually just throw the shell on to make sure everything aligns perfectly, and once that's done, we can go ahead and actually start reassembling the controller. And with that controller fully reassembled now, we can get ourselves into Smashscope. And what Smashscope does is it allows us to tune out the snapback module and make sure that we don't have any snapback. So I'm just going to kind of go through the test over here, make sure that I get all my values as I want, and adjust the switches on the snapback module to make sure that there's no snapback. It's a fairly easy process, and if you're interested in more info, I'll leave a card in the upper right hand corner. And finally, after all that work, only one thing left to do. Let's playtest this thing and make sure that it's working as it should. Yeah, I'd say this thing's in good shape. Controller feels amazing. LEDs are working and reacting to Link's animations on the screen. And Wolf here, he's got no shot. Overall, this controller turned out absolutely amazing, and it was just so much fun to build it. I'm a huge fan of The Legend of Zelda, so it felt really good to make a commemorative 35th anniversary controller, even if Nintendo didn't. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the links here at the end, because I'm sure you're going to enjoy those as well. And I'll catch you guys for a new video here soon.